Okay, so this is a mouse mover. That's a nice little note from the inventor, and this is the basic operating manual. So it's pretty easy to use. And inside you get a USB-C cable, which is a pretty generous length. So depending on where or how close to your computer you have this. So again, very long. I'd say it's probably almost about 6 foot long. And then this is the mouse mover itself. So I guess this is a little kind of ring to help keep if you have a lighter mouse so it doesn't bounce out and around. But that is it. That is your USB-C connector. So let's basically plug this in and get this going. Oh, that's your control panel. So the power's on. Plus or minus depending on how much movement you want. So okay, so this is my workstation computer, and I can obviously reset the settings so I can have the screensaver not come on. I can always have the screen on, but a lot of times I like to put it into power mode and just have it power down. And then while I'm in here, I found myself just coming over and you do one of these things to keep the computer awake and the screensaver from coming on. Sure, again, you can reset the settings in there, but something like this I think is a great little tool, especially for me. I'm very forgetful with things, and this is a simple. So that's on. You just hit the power button and it's off. So for me, while I'm down here working, I like to keep this on. And again, you put it right here in the center, and if you can see the mouse moving across the screen, it's kind of small, but hopefully you can see that. And it will basically kind of keep that mouse moving so my screensaver doesn't come on and my computer doesn't basically go into sleep mode and power down. And this thing is pretty neat because it will move the mouse to one side of the screen, and then it will kind of like hang out there, and it will kind of like scroll and move up a little bit, and then it will basically reverse itself, and then the mouse will kind of move across the screen that way. So it does kind of like time out, and it will stop and it has a countdown timer on it, so that's pretty cool. So it'll count down for like from 33 seconds or whatever your time interval you put in there, and then once it comes back on, it will start moving across the screen. So let me just get this set up for some close-ups. And so that is your countdown timer. So we're going to go down to a couple seconds. And then now we'll move to the screen. So there's the mouse. And then it'll start moving the mouse again. So kind of pull this out so kind of put it into perspective of how it's moving. And so it's slow, but I mean it's mimicking a mouse movement to keep everything active. And then you can see how it's rotating on here. So very cool. And then again, that's your timer. It went down to 0. So it's going to move for a couple more seconds, and then it'll like stop. And then that's your countdown timer on there. So very cool. Something very useful for my needs. You can use this for some unscrupulous activity as well. I'm not going to go into detail on that. I'm sure you can figure out what that is. But again, this is how I'm using this for my needs. Anyway, Brian from GarageMahal, thanks for watching, and be safe out there.